Join us today as we discuss a matter very pressing. What exactly constitutes a Christmas movie? Welcome back, folks. There's a little bit of a technical difficulty with this video, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We filmed it, and it got broken up into two videos on the phone, and the last, minute has no video, or it's going to be a still picture. It is however the editor's going to spit it out. I'm still not 100% certain, but it's just going to be audio for sure.
And that's why it's also taken so long to try and get the video up.
Yes, because I've tried re-downloading it a few times from the phone onto other systems. There's just no salvaging it, and we thought it'd look stupid if we were in different outfits for the last minute, which is basically the, hey, hope you enjoyed the video part. But so anyway, just a warning for what's about to happen in this video at the very end. Sorry. Stay tuned for more, hopefully better, non-screwed up videos. Catch you later.
Stuff does happen, though.
Yes, it does, unfortunately. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to all you new folks out there. This will be another episode of Conceptually Speaking, where we attempt to figure out what exactly constitutes a Christmas movie. And given that it is the second week of November,
at the time of recording.
Yes, at the time of recording, with Halloween distantly in the background.
2 weeks in the background.
Some get together where we eat a bunch of food that no one celebrates or anything else.
Yes, there is no music for it, people.
Yes, there are no Thanksgiving songs. There's like 2 Thanksgiving movies, one of which is a Charlie Brown movie.
Yeah. And the other you don't even think of as a Thanksgiving movie,
yes,
apparently.
Which we will be discussing that in a moment, in fact. So, what better time to talk about the holiday that's a month and a half away? Christmas. Now, despite all that, Christmas is actually my favorite holiday. I love Christmas. Halloween is a very close second. Halloween's cool. But, I don't know. It's probably just the nostalgia from being a kid, but I love Christmas. I'd have a Christmas tree up 24/7 all year round if I could.
You do.
Yes, as Chad is noticing, in fact, in the house we record this in, which is not the house any of us live in, it's an empty house at the moment, there is in fact a Christmas tree up that has been up since last year. So,
with a nutcracker under it.
Yes. Yes. But anyway, I love the whole deal. The lights, some of the songs. Now, when
Mariah Carey gets real old real quick.
Yeah, not Mariah Carey. No real modern songs. I want Holly Jolly Christmas and like the older versions of Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Yeah.
Songs like that.
Johnny Cash singing Silent Night.
I don't know that I've ever heard that, but given the other songs of his I've heard, I imagine I would like that.
He's got a few Christmas songs out there.
Yeah, I mean, I like, I'm not a country fan by any stretch, but I like a lot of Johnny Cash's music that I've heard. So, I especially loved his later albums where he was covering other music.
Like Hurt?
Yes, that's
that is a very, very good cover of the song.
But yeah, so I imagine I would like it. But also, Nat King Cole has some Christmas music that's really good, and I prefer older Christmas music.
Weird Al has some good Christmas music.
Yeah. And
Christmas at Ground Zero.
And despite all the things these videos talk about, you probably imagine I'm one of these people that has all kinds of Star Wars and Star Trek crap on his Christmas tree. No. I am... That's one of the places I draw the line. I do not put those things on my Christmas tree. I have an X-Wing because someone bought it for me.
He does not have a Death Star tree topper.
There's no Death Star tree topper.
I would love that, though.
There's no Darth Vader on there.
No Yoda. No Grogu.
And I don't even approach this from a religious purist
standpoint or anything. It's a matter of Christmas is its own thing. I know it's wildly commercial. My Christmas tree is not going to be. I'm not putting a bunch of characters on there. They have no place on there.
It's simple, older style
Yeah.
ornaments.
Yeah.
And tinsel.
I've got I think I have a couple of ornaments that I got out of a Captain Crunch box in 1988 on there. But that's because I was a kid and I thought they were cool at the time. That's the only reason they're still there. That's it. They're like the Soggies and whatever on earth the robot bad guy there was for Captain Crunch. Yes, Captain Crunch used to have enemies. I'll have to look them up sometime.
Well, he's a pirate. He's gotten rid of them all.
I always assumed he was at the very least what is it? Not a profiteer.
Privateer.
Privateer, yeah. That he at least had a letter of marque from somebody. But yeah. So anyway.
But back to the topic at hand.
Yeah. So I love Christmas. Just,
Christmas is a great holiday. I love seeing how the world looks with that nice fresh coat of snow on it.
Yes, speaking of which, what day are we recording this here, Chad?
Sunday,
November 13th.
Yes.
Yesterday, those of us in our part of the world here woke up to a nice coating of snow.
Yes. The morning of the 12th, which for me was get off work time.
Yeah.
And drive home as the snow flurry turned into true snowing and then nice, good, heavy snow.
Yeah.
And some of it is still around, folks.
Yep. So, anyway, so what we're going to discuss, and I doubt we're going to come to an actual answer because I don't know if there is one, but this is what the whole point is, to, get people talking, is what exactly constitutes a Christmas movie. And this, people have debated this, I'm sure, for a little while, especially once people started calling Die Hard a Christmas movie. And personally, I view it as one. Not in a traditional sense, obviously, but it takes place on Christmas. Instead of Santa Claus handing out coal to all the bad boys and girls, John McClane is dishing out hot lead. There's all kinds of jokes revolving around the fact it's Christmas. The timing is important in the movie to a lot of the stuff that's going on. And again, like I said, it comes down to, there are some people that are definitely on the naughty list, and, well, now they're not on any list.
Well, they are on a list.
Well, okay.
Mortuary list.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you that one, Chad. I'll give you that one. But on the flip side,
it doesn't have
there's no
the warmth and joy you would expect in a normal Christmas movie.
There's all kinds of warmth, especially near the top floor of the Nakatomi Plaza gets blown to hell. That was probably quite
wrong
hot.
kind of warmth.
Agent Smith and Special Agent Smith probably got quite warm from that. Then, but yeah, I mean, you've got that. You've got the Christmas party atmosphere. You got some jokes flowing, and especially from the main Japanese guy. His name isn't Nakatomi. What is his name?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, he had a great joke. I thought it was hilarious anyway. Whenever he's like, well, we didn't win at Pearl Harbor, so we decided to win you over with compact electronics or something like that. And it's just like, well, all right. He said it. I guess it's okay. But, yeah. And, I mean, obviously, John McClane, probably also on the naughty list, if we're all being realistic here for a moment. Guy does an awful lot of swearing. His marriage isn't in the best shape.
As we see in future movies, he doesn't have the greatest relationship with his kids.
Yeah.
Although, in those movies, that also gets fixed. So.
Yeah. But I think there's an overall... I think the level that the Christmas theme is integrated into the movie can't be overlooked. Now, the movie could have taken place at any other point in time, and you just make some other jokes about it.
Could have been 4th of July.
Yeah. Which I think the fourth one is...
I
Is that the one who fights the computer wizard played by Timothy Oliphant?
Worst casting ever.
No, Timothy Oliphant's great in everything he does.
He's a great actor, but he's more of a shoot you guy than a
that's
computer
true.
whiz. I mean, just look at him in Hitman.
Yeah. But but you contrast this to Die Hard 2, which also takes place over Christmas, but I wouldn't really call it a Christmas movie.
No.
Because, like, if the characters didn't say it was taking place on Christmas, you wouldn't know that it was.
Oh.
Like, the other elements just aren't there. And that's why I think the first one, if it's not, like, obviously not in a traditional sense, if it's not, it's close.
Yes. Then if you're going off the traditional sense, like, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
Well, right, because, I mean,
It's not a Christmas story. It's not How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
It's not... Crap, my mind's gone blank.
I don't know, Elf.
I've actually never watched that.
Neither have I. So that's going to be on the list, though, because I'm sure I need to see it before we make the list. Because, yes, there will be a top 10 list. Probably a couple of them as we kind of divide them up because there's just way too many Christmas movies. Like, if I truly wanted to, I could spend the next 3 days watching the Hallmark Channel and come up with 50 Christmas movies, probably. Based on what I saw yesterday whenever I looked at my little cable thing. And it's like, oh, these are all Christmas movies. From now until December 25th on the Hallmark Channel. Great.
Yeah.
Probably all different Christmas movies, too. I have no idea who funds that channel. I have no idea who watches it. Except for my sister. Sorry, Jessica, if you happen to see this. I am throwing you under the bus on this one. But anyway.
It's occasionally on at work, and I'm just like, not watching that.
I mean, I've watched, like, she's been over and had it on, and so it just stays on in the background. Like, a couple of their shows and movies aren't terrible. I can see maybe
Some
why
appeal.
people watch them, but, like, I don't know. Anyway, so I guess I think an important factor is that there doesn't necessarily need to be a lesson learned, but
No.
but if there is, or if there's a lesson about giving and the holidays, and that obviously I think that that's a shoe in. You're in at that point.
It doesn't even have to take place majorly on Christmas Day. Look at A Christmas Story.
Yeah,
For a lot of people, that is the quintessential Christmas movie. Most of it takes place before Christmas.
Yeah, I was actually like in kind of mentally preparing for this video while I was at work earlier today. That thought crossed my mind that like almost the entire movie is not actually on Christmas.
Yeah.
When does it start around? Is it around Thanksgiving?
Yes.
When it starts? Yeah. Also, for those of you who've not ever seen the movie, it has an entirely unrealistic depiction of Gary, Indiana in it. Now, that's Gary, Indiana, probably circa... When do you think that's supposed to be? The 50s, probably?
50s, 60s, right in there.
Yeah. So Gary might have actually looked like that at that point in time.
Westerns were kind of big in it.
That's true.
And Westerns were big around the 50s.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of references to the Wizard of Oz in that movie. Like...
Yeah.
Like in the parade, there's people dressed up for the Wizard of Oz. There's people in the store going up and down the line. He imagines his teacher is the Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, I don't know what the deal with all the references of the Wizard of Oz is, because the movie was made in the 80s. But, I don't know. For those of you that don't know what that movie is, that's the movie that TBS will play 24/7 for one day. I'm one of those people that can actually sit down and watch that movie like 5 times in a row. Not because I think it's the most awesome movie ever, just that I can tolerate it, and I know it drives everyone else crazy.
That's alright. I was playing Christmas music last night at work some because I knew it drove some of my coworkers crazy.
Yeah. I don't get the hate for Christmas music. Like I mentioned earlier, I prefer older Christmas music. I mean...
Oh, I went with older Christmas music and Weird Al.
Like, most of it's okay music. It's Christmas themed.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with it.
Now if we're talking like Mariah Carey on repeat, well, I think it's probably a war crime, but
That's a violation of the Geneva Conventions.
Yeah, cruel and unusual. But yeah,
Especially
so like
when you got to work.
so like A Christmas Story, that one's obviously a Christmas movie. I mean, the whole thing centers around Christmas. It's all about a kid trying to get what he wants for Christmas. Assorted life lessons learned along the way.
Yes,
Like
yes.
like
If you're going to say fudge, say fudge.
yeah, yeah.
But if you don't say fudge,
Make
don't
sure-
blame your dad.
Make sure you got some random friend you can blame it on so you can share in the punishment.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got that. Also, other life lesson. If your neighbor has a bunch of dogs, like
Make sure you firmly shut the door.
make sure your doors are locked. Or you're going to be eating Chinese turkey for Christmas.
That they behead right there at the table for you.
Yeah.
And traumatize your little brother.
Yeah.
And your mom.
So, that movie has a sequel, by the way.
I know it does. I've never watched it.
I've only seen bits and pieces of it. And it's like it's the same people, but like during the summer at some point. And then there's like the actual like attempt to remake it or something from a few years ago. I didn't watch that either. It looked not good. So I mean that one's obviously a Christmas movie. Like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's obviously a Christmas movie. I mean,
That's a glorious
it's,
Christmas
you know,
movie.
It takes place over Christmas. You know, you got the lights. You got the family trying to kind of get together, but
And
you know,
tolerate each other.
But the constant feuding. So probably like an actual Christmas.
Yes.
But everything kind of working out at the end.
But lesson learned is for company this time.
Yeah,
Christmas bonus. Don't just make it a jam of the month subscription.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that qualifies. And of course, obviously, all like the Charlie Brown Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and
Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman, all those. What's the name of that company that made those? I used to know that. Rankin Bass.
Yes.
All those claymation kind of things. They're not actually claymation, but I don't know what they are.
There's a Jack Frost one they made as well. That's good.
Yeah, but all those, that's your traditional Christmas stuff. And I think if you look at it, the main themes seem to be that they're during or right around Christmas. Christmas is very central to the plot. And in a lot of them, like there's some kind of lesson learned or some kind of, goodwill towards all men kind of thing going on. So with that in mind, what about a movie like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? You ever seen that, by the way?
It's been a long time ago.
All right. So the movie is, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's, Steve Martin and John Candy are the main two actors in the movie.
Two great, hilarious actors working together.
Yeah. And you got some other bit parts. Steve Martin's wife. I've seen her on Law and Order, but I know she's in other things. His boss is in a bunch of stuff. Kevin Bacon's in the movie for 2 minutes as the other guy trying to get the taxi cab outside in New York. So Steve Martin works in New York, but lives in Chicago, I believe, was the setup. And so he's trying to get home for Thanksgiving. But if you aren't paying attention to the movie and you miss that little blurb based on the snow and everything else that's happening, you could be forgiven for thinking this movie is taking place during Christmas. Because everything else, they mention it like twice that it's Thanksgiving at the beginning of the movie. And if it weren't for that, I think this would be a Christmas movie. Because you've got these two guys trying to get to their respective homes. Although you do eventually find out that that's not entirely true. Steve Martin's trying to get home to his family and is stuck with John Candy, who seems to just continually keep screwing things up or putting him in bizarre situations, and Steve Martin's just kind of having to grin his teeth, and he lashes out a few times, and finally comes to the end of the movie. They're in Chicago. He's on the L train. That's the elevated train, for those of you who don't know what the L train is. He's heading home, and he's kind of replaying everything that's happened in his mind. He's kind of, now that it's behind him, he can laugh at it. He's like, oh, yeah, this will make great stories one day. But he starts thinking about some of the things John Candy had said throughout the movie, and some of the way he'd reacted to some of the questions about his wife. and it hits him that John Candy's wife is dead, that he's not trying to get anywhere, he's got nowhere to go. So he goes back and is like, come on, like, come to my place. And so the movie ends on the note of Steve Martin realizing that, he's kind of a dick. And, in the interest of the season, opens his home up to this guy that he spent the last 3 days with assorted misadventures trying to get home. And so, like, if it weren't for the fact they said this was a Thanksgiving movie, this would be a Christmas movie. Trying to get home for the holidays, snow everywhere.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. So I think that's why I think it's AMC. The moment the clock rolled over to November 1st, like, and now for our Christmas movie marathon kind of stuff. That's like the second movie in the list. And I'm like, that's a Thanksgiving movie. What's going on here? I don't think anyone cares. I think everyone lumps it in under Christmas movies just because. So I think that one's like an honorary Christmas movie almost, even though it's not during Christmas. So the question is, should it be? Does the fact that it has nothing to do with Christmas exclude it from being a Christmas movie?
I don't know on that. That's
like it checks all the other boxes.
it's just not Christmas.
Yeah. So I don't know. Definitely tell us what you think down in the comments, folks.
Yeah.
Because if you missed that part, you would
I always thought it was a Christmas movie.
Well, because everywhere they go, it's snowing, and they're in the Midwest, and now it's the Upper Midwest, but we live in the Midwest, and it doesn't really start snowing until around and after Christmas. I mean, our current situation, a rare exception.
Well, I remember when I was little, coming up when I lived out of the state. I'd come up to see my grandma for Thanksgiving. We'd always go home right afterwards because snow.
Yeah,
like good snow.
Yeah, I mean it used to snow
And
earlier
cold.
in the year, and it has before. Like I can remember in the last 10 years, I can remember at least once that we got a halfway decent snow in October.
Yeah.
So I mean it does happen.
And I remember several years ago we had a good 2 foot of snow and 2 inches of ice.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite story related to that was actually the other end of the season, spring break for us in high school one year. I want to say junior year, maybe, or maybe sophomore, junior year. First day of spring break, it's like 60 degrees. Second day of spring break, foot of snow on the ground with like several inches of ice underneath it, just solid ice. So we're off the whole week for spring break and the whole next week because the ice and snow didn't go anywhere. and they couldn't put a dent in it to allow traffic. Like, the highway was clear, but that was it. And
Wow.
yeah, we live in the middle of nowhere, so like the little tiny towns here, it doesn't take much for the whole system to just break down as far as ice and snow. Because you got plenty of kids live out in the countryside, and even the city streets. Like, we live 2 blocks from the grocery store, and I distinctly recall me and my dad walking over there instead of driving over there at least twice because of how much ice was out. And I don't walk anywhere. Like, I drive. And that was a thing in high school, too. So, the fact that Dad didn't trust just driving 2 blocks during the day, like at noon, yeah, it was pretty severe. Our folks that went to Florida for the band competition had a hell of a surprise after they got back. But, yeah. So you have movies like that. And then you have movies that take place during Christmas. Again, coming back to Die Hard. Or, like, I don't know. Like, what about, like, Krampus? I mean, it's clearly in the horror section.
But it is.
But is it a horror? But is it a Christmas horror? Like, is it still a Christmas movie too?
Because Krampus is part of Christmas tradition. to an extent.
Yeah.
More the older tradition than current traditions.
Sure, and usually it's specifically German, right?
Somewhere over there.
Yeah. And it obviously takes place during Christmas, you know. And this is more about people on the naughty list than the nice list.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it does qualify, but it's also a horror movie. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, and it's not the only movie like that either. Like, there's like 5 Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. I've only seen the second one. Apparently that's the only one I need to see.
Well, we need to go see Violent Night.
Oh, yeah. Well, while we're talking about Christmas movies, there appears to be quite the Christmas movie on the horizon
Yes.
called Violent Night, which is apparently where Santa gets pushed just a little too far by some thieves and decides he's going to be John McClane from the looks of the trailer. And
Well,
it's
same producers as Mr. Nobody.
yeah, and who's the guy? He's the sheriff on
David Harbour.
Yeah, the sheriff on Stranger Things, and the ill-fated Hellboy reboot. He was Hellboy, not the sheriff. I don't think there was a sheriff. I didn't watch the movie; it looked bad. They should have just made a third Hellboy movie with Ron Perlman. But anyway, I digress. So you have movies like that. But then you also have like Iron Man 3, where like the movie takes place during Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas.
There is a lesson learned.
There are lessons learned. Like the fact that Tony Stark is a liar. I'm going to get rid of all my suits. Then the next Avengers movie, hey, look at all these shiny suits I got. Lying bastard.
Also, you know, how you act previously, even though you are now a changed person, can still come and bite you in the butt.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? We make our own enemies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all the enemies there were made by Tony Stark.
Yeah. Also, other important lesson learned. Bruce Banner, not a psychologist.
Yep.
Not the guy to unload your troubles onto.
Also, not a medical doctor either.
No. And if your story is too long and winding, he will fall asleep, if I recall correctly.
Yes, he did fall asleep.
So, yeah.
Would you say, what is it? Is it just Guardians as a Christmas movie?
I haven't seen it, but...
It's got Jack Frost, it's got Santa Claus, but it also
Yeah.
has the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. It has snow galore, lessons learned.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know. It's
But,
hard
like...
See, that's... That movie has what I consider like the opposite problem as to Frozen.
Oh?
Well, Frozen I don't think has any reference to Christmas, but the whole thing is clearly like that time of the year and everything. Plus the fact Elsa's powers go off the scale and make it that time of the year. And so like, but lessons are learned and, you know, important things happen and it's a Disney movie, which means half of those are Christmas movies by default anyway, half the time. And it's like, it has the pieces, but just not explicitly Christmas. And it's just, is it enough to be like Northern European-esque during the winter season and learn lessons and whatnot without specifically mentioning Christmas and Santa Claus? You know?
Yeah.
Or, like a movie that I definitely do consider a Christmas movie, but I could see the argument that it's not, is a movie like A Nightmare Before Christmas. Because, like, obviously Christmas is a major part of the plot,
Yeah.
but so is Halloween Town.
Yeah.
You know?
Lessons are learned.
You know, like, don't trust Oogie Boogie.
And, you know, like, just because something's great doesn't mean you have to take it from other people.
You know? So, like, I do because I think there's enough Christmas to it. but I can see the argument that, well, it's more like a movie that has Christmas bits but isn't actually a Christmas movie. I don't know. Like I said, I default to it probably is a Christmas movie. So
It's a Christmas movie.
yeah.
Like that one, yeah, that one's a Christmas movie.
And then you have movies like The World Is Not Enough, which just so happens to end on Christmas. That's a James Bond movie for those of you that don't know. Or should I say, it ends in Christmas. And, why whatever you shaking your head for, Chad?
Because the way you say that to me implies, and I know I've seen this one. Pretty sure Christmas is the name of the Bond girl in that movie.
Dr. Christmas Jones.
Yep.
And yes, for those of you who have watched the Bond movies and understand the concept of the double entendre, you can figure out what I meant by what I just said.
Yeah.
It is an accurate description of the end of the film. As new Q, John Cleese, saw in his thermal imaging as two became one. It got really hot. Also, we're going to do a whole thing on the Bond movies at some point later on down the road. But, like, I think we're gonna find out what the limits are as to what you can say on YouTube in that one. But because there's
some names there.
There's some names, and the comment at the end of that one. Oh man, it's that's the one that takes the cake. Like none of the others is even close on that one. But we'll get there when we get there.
Christmas movies. Like, Christmas movies is one of those things that I know it when I see it, but it's hard to define.
Ah, the obscenity definition.
Which I have defaulted to before.
Yeah, well, you know.
I believe it was in our what constitutes player versus player video.
Yeah. That's fine.
But yeah, it can be around Christmas but not be a Christmas movie. It could be a Christmas movie without Christmas, which sounds weird, but it's technically possible. Because planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever see the movie, I think it's actually called Last Christmas? It has Amelia Clark in it.
I don't think I have.
Yeah. This is going to be some spoilers here, folks, in case you're concerned about an Amelia Clark Christmas movie from a few years ago. So, you know the song Last Christmas? Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So.
Do they take it literally?
Yes, actually, as you find out in the last few minutes of the movie. Amelia Clark, her character, I've only seen like about the last half of the movie or so, mainly because at some point, like all the advertisements were like, "Oh, you'll never guess how the movie ends," and everyone's like, is there supposed to be mystery to a Christmas movie now? Like, that's a weird way to advertise a kind of movie like this. So she is kind of going through life with a very laissez-faire attitude, and picking up random guys and everything, and the other people are putting up with it, and but you can tell like a breaking point's coming, and then she starts falling for this Asian guy, and they're in England, because I think she is English, right? I think she is. I'm pretty sure she is. Maybe not. I don't know. But I thought she was.
I do not know.
Anyway, that's not super important, but they are in London for whatever that's worth. And like towards the end of the movie, like she goes to the guy's apartment, like it's empty, and she's like, "Where the hell is this guy?" Like, And she goes and she ends up going to the spot that I think she'd been to a couple other times for the movie. And finally noticed this bench she keeps going to sit down on has like one of those little like in memoriam placards on it, and the dude's name's on there. And uh, she was in a car accident, and so was he, and she might have actually hit him. Like I don't remember. He was a bicyclist guy, and he was a compatible donor, and so he literally gave her his heart.
Oh wow.
And she figures out that that's like why everyone's kind of been putting up with everything, because like she didn't remember that it happened, like she had no idea, and then everything comes rushing back, and it for a moment pretty little crushes her because she's like, oh my god, like this dude's in my head, you know, and yeah, so that's how you take a not overly great Christmas song and somehow turn it into an okay-ish Christmas movie. So there you go. But yeah. So obviously, uh, like with Ebenezer Scrooge, is that just called Scrooge? I thought I had a different title, but
Why are you popping this on me now? Christmas Carol.
yeah, Christmas Carol. Obviously,
There is a version of it called Scrooge.
Oh, I know.
With Bill Murray.
Oh, I'm getting to that. So, A Christmas Carol, obviously that's a Christmas movie because that's, Scrooge is going to learn a valuable lesson when the ghosts of Christmas present, past, and future all come to visit him. And his heart's going to grow 3 sizes the next day, just like the Grinch with his case of myocarditis. But that was from, I think it was Robot Chicken. I was watching
Yeah.
And so the Grinch dies of a heart attack because his heart just enlarges 3 sizes because that's not natural. So, but yeah. So, Ebenezer obviously like, I'm going to rehire
Bob Cratchit.
Yeah, he's going to rehire Bob Cratchit. And, here's money for Tiny Tim. And
Here's you a good raise, and you get access to my charcoal.
yeah. So then in the 80s, you had Scrooged, which is Bill Murray as a TV producer. He's the modern day Scrooge. And they're making a version of the Christmas Carol. So it's like Christmas Inception here as we're going deeper and deeper into the dream world and we don't know where up and down are. But yeah, also one of the few movies with old Karen, what's her name, that plays Marion in the Indiana Jones movies.
Oh.
Yeah, she was the love interest here for Bill Murray. But yeah, that one's a good movie, especially towards the very beginning. Like they're trying to come up with. He's like I said, he's a TV producer, and so all these people are like, well, here's our advertisement ideas for the Christmas Carol, and he's like, these all suck. Like here, let's run mine. And it's like some apocalyptic nightmare with like nuclear explosions in the background and talking about acid rain and random freeway shootings. And he's like, now you need to watch the movie. It might be the last thing you do, kind of thing. And everyone's like, you can't run that. And he's like, you're going to give people a heart attack. He's like, yeah. Can you imagine the ratings if that happened? So yeah, like he is that guy in this movie, and it's Bill Murray just off the chain. Like it's great. Yeah, that was pretty good. So that's also definitely a Christmas movie because not only is it like he learns the lessons and it is Christmas, but also like it is like modern day Scrooge making money off of the older version of Scrooge. It's like, there's layers to this one kind of thing. Although one of my personal favorite Christmas things was the South Park episode where they have to go rescue Santa Claus from Iraq because he got shot down.
I've not seen a lot of South Park, so.
Well, he gets shot down over Iraq. So they have to go save him. And so the boys go get Jesus and go save him. But the problem is they get captured too. So Jesus is in the same cell with, I believe Stan is the one that's Jewish. And he's like, Stan, you have to kill me so that I can resurrect outside the cell and let us free. And he's like, Jesus, I don't think you understand what you're asking me here. Like my people already blamed for killing you in the first place. He's like, I know, my son, but you can do this. Be strong. And so he like gives him something. He like stabs him right in the throat, and he bleed. It takes like 2 minutes of squealing and everything to finally bleed out. So he finally gets free, and then they get Santa Claus, and he shoots the guy that was holding him captive and torturing him. Uh, then they take off in a sled and drop a bunch of presents everywhere. And then Santa gives this big soaring speech about how, none of this would have been possible without the sacrifice of a great man, Jesus Christ. Maybe from this day going forward, this holiday shouldn't be about riches and presents, and we should just remember the life of the one man who gave it all so that we could have this day. And it's just this, like what the hell am I watching here kind of moment. Like, they've managed to sum up, like, the total disconnect between what Christmas is supposed to be and what it is, but like in this weird satire. So you don't know, should I be laughing or crying at this? And I mean, that was the moment that I knew that those two guys were on top of their game. Like, that was great. You should definitely watch that. You should all watch that too if you've never seen it.
How does that tell us what a Christmas movie is?
Because that's the one that really questions it. Is it about Santa Claus? Or is it about Jesus?
It's about Santa Claus.
Well, I mean, being realistic, at this particular moment in time in the United States, yes, it is. But that's not the point.
No, I'm not overly religious. So.
Like, for that brief shining moment, there was that, hey, wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to be celebrating something else here?
Yeah, Yuletide.
Yuletide. There we go. Saturnalia, maybe?
That too.
Yeah, throw all the pagan holidays that were co-opted in there.
Easter.
No, that's something else that's co-opted for that. Joe Bob Briggs talks about that. It's like the other Halloween essentially. Valpurgisnacht, I think, is what he called it. Like, he brought it up, and everyone on the set was like, Joe Bob, what in the hell are you talking about? It's like, Valpurgisnacht, just like, what do you mean? Being if I was like, here's a Coke, like saying it like it's like that simple, not like, here's here's the color purple, tell me how it tastes, That's the kind of look everyone was giving.
Artificial grape.
That's the kind of look everyone was giving him, like, you can't taste the color, Joe Bob. He's like, I know you can. Plus, you can also tell me how it sounds. Well, he has like a second head growing or something, Like, that was the reaction that everyone was giving him. So, yes, apparently, by pagan ritual and whatnot, there's a second day of the year, the opposite day to Halloween on the calendar, where the realm of the dead and the realm of the living
Are farthest apart.
No, where they sync up again, actually. Yeah. Valpurgisnacht. Halloween 2. This time it's personal.
That was not the subtitle for Halloween 2.
There is no subtitle for Halloween 2. Halloween 2 just takes place in the hospital. That's all we know about it.
And outside the hospital.
Okay, in various places around Haddonfield outside the hospital. Alternatively, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the first few minutes takes place in the hospital, but it's a bait and switch. It's all a dream, just paying homage to the original Halloween 2. Most of the rest of it's just showing you what would probably actually happen to someone that survived Halloween. Let's just say that Laurie's mental makeup no longer sound. Her friend that survived, her and Laurie are just like, yeah, we came this close to death. Like, there's no point in taking anything else seriously ever again. we're just going to do what we want to do. And apparently the sheriff's cool with this because we're living with him. Because it's his daughter, the one girl that survived. Because you haven't seen Rob Zombie's Halloween.
No, I have not.
Yeah, so one of the...
We're on Christmas movies, though, so
I know, but...
We don't need to be discussing Halloween.
We're gonna get back
it has come and passed.
We're going to get back to it here in just a minute.
It has come and passed.
It'll come again, Valpurgisnacht.
Yes, then we can discuss it. But right now we're on Christmas movies and what constitutes a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but this is kind of relevant.
How?
Well, do these constitute Halloween movies just because they have the name on them? I mean, maybe yes, maybe no. It's a similar argument.
The first one took place during Halloween.
Well, I mean, technically all of them do. So, just different Halloweens. None of them are like over like the July 4th weekend or anything.
Like,
Michael doesn't just like grill out burgers the other days of the year waiting on Halloween. And it's not like Jason sitting there waiting for Friday the 13th to pop up to go murder counselors at Camp Crystal Lake. And Freddy kills people beyond just people that live on Elm Street. So, just saying. That was actually something else I considered trying to talk about for this video. Where's the line between horror and thrillers? But we'll save that for another video.
yeah, it's another video.
So, anyway. Yeah. So that's our rambling train of thought, unless you got something else you want to throw in there, Chad.
No, like we've come to no conclusion as well.
Well, I didn't think we would.
Beyond the, hey, I'll know it when I see it one.
Yeah. So, do we consider Planes, Trains, and Automobiles an honorary Christmas movie? I vote yes.
Yes, because I've always thought it was a Christmas movie.
All right.
I'm going to be honest, I've always thought it was a Christmas movie.
All right. Now for the more difficult one. Die Hard. I vote yes.
Where's the lesson learned in that one?
Don't mess with John McClane.
No, there is no one living at the end of that to have learned that lesson.
Yes, there is. Towards the end of the movie, there is the black computer guy. He survived. He wasn't killed. And there are 3 guys raiding the vault. Hans Gruber, the one guy who was clearly like an American with the team, that he was the guy that was the fake front desk security guard through most of the movie, and some rando. The rando, McClane knocks him out when he walks in the room. He doesn't kill him. So there are 2 terrorists that survived that movie. They learned that lesson.
We need a new Die Hard movie where they come to get revenge.
So, John, thanks to you, we both got like a 1,000-year prison sentence, even though Hans is the one shooting everybody. Yeah.
Takes place on Christmas.
Well, yeah.
In Japan at the Nakatomi HQ.
They've invited John.
They've invited John, and John's brought his best buddy from 3.
Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Yes.
Zeus.
Yes. And it's those 2, like, current ages and all, having to...
What about Hal? No. Sorry. Hal? Is that his name?
Ooh.
Powell. The black cop in L.A. His last name.
He's there as well.
I think it's Al Powell. I think is his name.
He's there as well. Because he was instrumental in helping the event in California as well.
All right. I love it. Make this happen, Fox. They've invited him there to thank him for most of the building surviving and most of their employees surviving.
Yes. And all the people from the previous Die Hard movies that survived have brainstormed, like it's been in the presses that this is happening. And they're like, this is our chance.
See, McClane might be up the creek there. Because, like, no one survived part 2. I'm pretty sure all of them bought it in part 2. But in part 3, they only killed, like, 3 of the bad guys. They had a whole army of East German dudes. And, like, all of them survived.
Did Gruber die in the third one?
Yeah, him and his girlfriend are on board the helicopter, and it blows up. And then the guy that was her boyfriend, the Bond guy, she shot him. They're like the only 3 dudes that bought it. Like, there's still all kinds of guys. There's a whole army of dudes. Then, I think all the hacker people got it. Because it really only came down to like 3 of them in the end.
Yeah, we're not going to include anyone from anything after that.
And I think all the Russians bought it in the 5th one.
I didn't watch the 5th one.
It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It's one of those, like, how do you live up to one of the greatest action movies ever made? That's why people consider the second one such a lesser movie. It's a decent action movie. It's just, it's no Die Hard 1. Then you got Die Hard 3 at the other end. It's like, here we are again. And then 4 and 5 is just like, are you guys even trying? You know, it's like, it's the embodiment of the Krennic meme. We were this close to greatness, you know, because you've seen it. It's there. But something's missing. I don't know what. I think in the 4th one it was the R rating.
To bring it up another notch, we could also have his daughter show up with the computer guy she started dating at the end of 4.
Yeah, that's Mary Elizabeth Winstead, right?
No clue.
Pretty sure it is.
Like, that would be great.
And the computer guy was Justin Long.
Yes, it was.
And then his son's in the 5th one. That's
Jay Courtney.
Yeah, Jai Courtney. You know, I don't like him in most of the roles he's in. I actually liked him as Kyle Reese, though, believe it or not.
And Captain Boomerang.
Yes, and Captain Boomerang. Captain Boomerang was the, hey, wait a minute, this guy might actually be able to act. Or at least pull off an Australian accent.
Captain Boomerang was wait a moment, that's Jay Courtney?
Yeah, that was the, no, it's not.
No.
You're lying to me, movie. That's not Jai Courtney. He doesn't play likable characters. But yeah.
But yeah, Christmas movies, like,
Yeah, so
make your own list, folks. Like, you could consider anything a Christmas movie just about. Unless it takes place on 4th of July. So, not Independence Day.
yeah. I mean, if the only criteria is it takes place on Christmas, then hell, Prometheus is a Christmas movie.
Lessons learned.
Don't mess with the black goo.
Also, don't trust androids.
I feel like they should have. Well, it's in the past, so they don't know that lesson yet. But yeah,
Like, she sees it happen, and she trusts him to go to their home world.
yeah.
Like, there's a lesson right there she paid attention to, and then it's like, but don't you want to know where they came from and why they did it?
Well, in fairness, I think she was an exceptionally poor scientist. So
Yes.
because there's that moment in the movie where they're like, "So you're just gonna ignore literally everything we know about evolutionary biology and go with this that you actually don't have any proof of?" I'm like, well, yeah. It's like, all right, fine. It's one of those, like, even the people making the movie are like, something's off here. We should at least mention that we know this is a thing, but we're going to ignore it.
Yeah. I could see that one being a Christmas movie.
Well, I mean, it takes place on Christmas. I mean,
it's as much a Christmas movie as Die Hard is then.
yeah, it's just that I think that, like, the fact that I think the fact that it's on Christmas is more prominently known in Die Hard. You know, it's a Christmas party. You know, they talk about Christmas.
They
talk
have
about
the
presents.
Christmas party in Prometheus. There's a tree and presents, everything.
There's a tree. There's no party.
There's presents, and they got booze. It's a party.
Your definition of party is exceptionally low, Chad.
Hey, they're on a starship,
In that case,
light years away from Earth,
in that case, I've been to a lot more parties in my life than I
with
thought I had
limited
been.
choices on, like, how to have a party. This is like in the first Alien movie. They had a party once while the John Hurt's character woke up. Admittedly, it was just like eating a bunch of crap, but and then one guy spitting it up and something popping out of his chest. But. Party popper.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah.
So for whatever it's worth, I don't consider Prometheus a Christmas movie.
But you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie.
There's just more going on related to Christmas. Again, it's a Christmas party. Like, the plan obviously hinges on the fact it is Christmas. Fewer people in the building, slower response time from the authorities. Probably more reluctant to cut the electrical grid until they absolutely have to. There's reasons why.
Why? They're in California and they ain't go freeze. That just doesn't make sense.
No, it's because it's Christmas. You can't be like on Christmas Eve. You can't be like, yes, let's cut the power to 1,000 people. Like,
yes, you can.
well, I mean, you can, but don't expect to have your job tomorrow. Like, what about Ghostbusters 2?
That's a Christmas movie.
I mean, it is Christmas, right? Or is it New Year's?
It's in that stretch of time.
Yeah, the finale is New Year's, but yeah, it's right before Christmas when it starts. So,
like, you get Bill Murray in a Santa hat. It's Christmas,
and it is part of the plot. Like, that's what Vigo's waiting for the birth of the new year to, and then the fact that the Ghostbusters are able to like turn it around on him by rallying New York. To be like, no, screw you, Vigo. Like, these people can cheer together.
We will like have Christmas cheer in New York and not be a-holes to each other.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes while they fight him.
So even though I think it's more like year-end holidays, I'd say it's probably a Christmas movie. Yeah, I'd probably go with yes. Probably. Been a while since I've seen it. Got to rewatch it. Could have rewatched it the other day, but that didn't happen. I'm not going to talk about this on here. Did I tell you about that?
What?
About the drive-in?
Yeah, you told me about that.
Story for another day, folks.
Yep. Took entirely too long to tell. About like this video.
Well, this is the conceptually speaking. This is where we just ramble on and on.
We've succeeded then.
All right, so folks, let us know what you think on this.
What do you consider to be the requirement for a Christmas movie?
If you've heard any of them we've thrown out there that you're like, yes, clearly that is, or no, you guys are fools,
Or, any movie you consider a Christmas movie we didn't mention?
Yeah, or anything that you kind of wonder about yourself, Like, if we open this up to other forms of entertainment, shall we say, to like TV series and the like, of the anime variety, and then to their OVA sequels, would Gundam Wing Endless Waltz be considered a Christmas thing? Because it takes place on Christmas.
Also has a bunch of people coming together.
Yeah.
With Christmas music playing about that time.
Yeah, depending on which version you see, there's a big scene that has a bunch of Christmassy music. But the other versions, it's different music. The other music sucks. The Christmas music's the way to go on that one.
Yes, it is.
When the serpent mobile suits are parachuting down through the snow.
There's lessons learned.
Because, like...
You can't rely on 5 teenagers to keep tyranny away forever.
Yes.
Although, for Power Rangers, it seems to work.
Well.
But they also have attitude.
This is true. But yeah, because like the original Gundam series, it actually ends on New Year's Day. But I don't remember if it's that or Gundam Wing where they call it the Eve Wars. I think it's Gundam Wing. Because the original series ends right around the same time too, as far as right around Christmas, where they fight and destroy the Libra space station base thing. But yeah.
I never actually made it all the way through Mobile Suit Gundam.
The original series?
Yeah.
Oh, you should.
I think
You get to see Bright Noah slap the crap out of Amuro a lot. Even
No,
though Amuro like goes and cries in the corner because he clearly has PTSD. 'Cause
I
he's like
was
15
watching
and-
it on Cartoon Network, Toonami. I think it was Toonami. And it got up to, I think, Rambaral, where they're in Africa.
Yeah,
And Amuro's like, I'm just going to take this G-Corps fighter and leave.
yeah,
Screw you guys.
sure.
I'm done being a warrior.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, they stopped airing it at that point.
Do you know what happened to Rumbarall?
Gets in a fight with Amuro after he's back in the Gundam. Does the bravest, most foolish thing he can do in the face of Gundam once his own mech's destroyed, which is jump at it strapped with explosives on him.
Yeah, pretty much. And doesn't even scratch the paint on the Gundam.
Yep. And Amuro was even more traumatized at that point because he liked Rambaral.
Yeah.
He was an okay guy.
Yeah, so totally unrelated to what we've been talking about, but you want to see some quality anime it lures you in with promises of big robot fights, but hits you with, man, war really sucks.
Yeah.
Like
Mobile Suit Gundam.
it tries to drive that point home.
Mobile Suit
every
Gundam,
possibility.
War in the Pocket. Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team, and Mobile Suit Gundam Stardust Memories all are, hey, lure you in with giant stompy robots and action and, war sucks. The aftermath of war sucks. Oh, these poor people.
Oh, the whole Universal Century timeline is like that.
Yeah.
Because those you just mentioned, aside from Stardust Memory, that's all during the 1 Year War.
Yeah. Stardust Memories right after it.
It's like 6 or 7 years later, but yeah,
They're still feeling the after effects.
I know it's before the formation of the Titans and the beginning of Zeta Gundam. It was meant to be a stopgap to show them beginning to form. Yeah, Zeta Gundam. God, that poor bastard from that one. Then finally, it all ends in Char's counterattack, where all the main characters kill each other, and their spirits just fly around through space for all eternity, I guess. Yeah. Worth a watch, folks.
Yes. Yes.
You should watch it around Christmas time so you can get getting depressed.
That'll make those family gatherings all the better.
Well, I tell you what. This is a related but side note. You want to get good and depressed. There was a show. This is related to Christmas. There was a show on Cartoon Network. It's on HBO Max now, called Moral Oral. It's about this kid. His name's Oral, Orel. And if you watch the episodes that take place around Christmas, like, I watched those 1 year at Christmas and I was like, oh my god, who made this? Like, this person must have a black hole where their soul should be. Because this kid is just oblivious to the things happening around him, as like his parents' marriage is just disintegrating around him. The dad's out trying to cheat on the wife, basically. The wife knows it. I think the dad is even being tempted to sleep with a dude at one point. And like, it's just like, just everything's just falling apart. And Oral just can't see it. And I think it finally comes crashing in on him towards the end. But like, man, as I was watching it, I was like, where does this end? Like, this is horrible. So, like, the total opposite of, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Charlie Brown Christmas and all that stuff. Like, yeah, not good. Yeah, you want to get good and depressed, watch that.
No, thank you. Like, no, I'll pass on that one. I've seen a few episodes of that show. There's reasons I did not watch more episodes.
Yeah. So, there you go. So, yeah, although if you want some hilarity, the Robot Chicken Christmas episodes are pretty good.
Golden.
Especially the one with Rudolph
And Goku.
where one of the reindeer got stuck down a well. So the other one tried to climb down in. And then they decided that the way to fix things was to toss a grenade down into the well. So one of the other reindeer brings a grenade over, pulls the pin, and drops it down the well. It blows up, kills the reindeer that's in the well. But the one that's up top survived, but his legs got blown off. Well, the problem is the reindeer fly, right? So he's just kind of hovers along, and Santa's even like, that shit's never gonna stop creeping me out. And so like he gets on him at the end. He's like, do the line, do the line. And Santa's like, all right, legs. Where we're going, we don't need legs. And he like flies up the back, like for the end of Back to the Future. Oh, that was something else. Yeah. Put that on your Christmas watching list, folks. I think that's also on HBO Max.
Any other Robot Chicken holiday specials?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's one where there's a Christmas robot goes crazy and starts shooting people.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also the one where like all the other Christmas icons decide we need to get Santa out of the way and we can be in the spotlight more.
Yeah.
So they got like Little Drummer Boy,
And
Frosty.
You were talking about the one, the Japanese Christmas special.
Yes.
With like Goku and all and Santa's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yep.
All right. We got to end this somewhere.
Yep, that's a good point to end it on Robot Chicken.
So, for those of you that are somehow still with us on this meandering course of stream of consciousness style,
thank you for one.
Yeah, thanks for sticking it out. Hopefully, at least give us a thumbs up
or thumbs down,
or subscribe, and we'd love to hear the comments on this one.
Yes, yes.
Like we said a couple times as we've been trying to wrap this up. Comments for, against, what do you guys think as far as Christmas movies? Anything you got questions about, comments you want to make, anything like that. Yeah, all the things for YouTube here. But otherwise, if we can manage to somehow find Thanksgiving movies, we might do a top 10 list. But as it stands, there's like 2.
One's Charlie Brown, and the other's an honorary Christmas movie.
That aren't like Hallmark movies or something. So, and I'm not going to count the one that's only a trailer from Eli Roth, Thanksgiving. Strong recommendation. Don't look that up while you're at work. Like, if you're going to look that one up, don't look it up at work. That's all I'm going to tell you. And it's not for the squeamish at all. So, having said that, folks, catch you later.